if I wanted to move into like a nice apartment, like a bigger,
Yeah, like a normal
modern,
American size.
Okay, normal American size, I'd be paying about 15,000 RMB a month.
Okay. Downtown.
Yeah, that would be like an entry level.
Okay.
I know people that pay like 35, 65 even.
And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you.
What do we got here? This is a flying goat. What the?
It says flying goat. It's supposed to be sheep's milk, so... Oh yeah, I gave it away. This is the sheep's milk. Are you ready to drink something exotic?
People drink cow milk, they drink almond milk. Like, I know they make goat's milk cheese and stuff, but I've never heard of people like going and sucking on a teat of a goat, right, or a sheep.
Yeah.
I feel like it would taste like grass or something.
Only one way to find out. Cheers.
Oh God, I'm already getting nauseous, dude, because I don't like milk anyway.
I like milk.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
It's ironic. It's my name.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
You go first.
It's the aftertaste that I'm just not a fan of. Try it.
My stomach's churning.
What?
Dude.
You don't want more sheep milk?
Do you know what that tastes like? It tastes like if you put salt in milk and then you freaking boiled sheep or mutton in it. Like
Yes,
a hot
yes,
pot.
it actually does have that muttony
It
taste.
tastes like a sheep hot pot. That is vile. That is, it's vile. It's vile.
It's the aftertaste that gets
It
you.
is.
I don't know why anyone would want to drink this. I don't think it's palatable to humans.
No, I don't think it's definitely for baby sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, that is vile. It's weird that it tastes like the meat of a sheep.
You know,
what
right?
I mean?
Yeah.
It tastes like a goat, like a young rochoir.
It does. It's got that. That's the aftertaste. But to me, it also, for some reason, I don't ask me why, because I don't know what cockroaches taste like.
Right.
But if you ground up cockroaches and like blended them in with
you know
milk,
when you stamp on them and you get the smell sometimes. That's kind of what it tastes like. You're absolutely right.
yeah.
That is coming up a little bit. I'm not gonna puke because I only had one sip, but it's I'm gonna say one more thing about this.
What's that?
It's like you wake up in the morning, right?
Yeah.
But you're like hungover or something. You get crust in your eyes, you can't see or whatever. And instead of cereal, you grab a frickin' box of lamb or goat, you pour it in a bowl, and then you dump milk and you start eating it like it's cereal.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is one of the worst things I've ever tasted.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's get.
People always say like I overreact or something. This is that bad.
No,
It's gross.
I agree with you, because even though I like milk and I'm very thirsty because we're hungover, surprise. I'm not going to finish this. Anyway, we wanted to talk about this whole phenomenon of the way China has become such an expensive place to live these days.
Yeah, so one of the things that people say is like, you guys are so lucky, it's so expensive where I live, you're so lucky to live in China. And I don't want to spoil the milk. I don't want to spoil the milk here, but compared to when we first moved there, I would say between 5 and 10 times, depending on what you're talking about, the price increase. It's nuts.
Let's do a little thought experiment here.
Okay.
All of you guys out there, just think about how much you're paying for rent, okay?
Yeah.
And then take like the average size of your place in square meters.
Right.
Square meters, not square feet, because I don't know square feet. Do you know square feet?
No,
No,
I only
okay.
know square meters.
So just do a little calculation there, pull out your phone, okay. Now, I'm going to tell you how much I pay for rent in Shenzhen right now.
Okay.
My apartment is 65 square meters.
Okay.
It was the cheapest apartment in the garden that I live in.
Okay.
The reason that I live there is because we moved there because of my wife's work, so that she didn't have to commute every day.
Okay.
Right, so, you know, being a nice husband, I was just like, you know, you don't need to be getting on a bus every day. I want us to live there.
Right.
And so I went to the nearest apartment complex, which isn't even a fancy one. It's fairly old.
Right.
And I went to the real estate agents, multiple of them, not just one, and I asked them for the cheapest apartment.
Give me your cheapest flat, sir.
Yeah, and they took me around and they showed me the cheapest apartment is over $1,000 a month. Is
Okay.
what I'm paying. It's 7,300 RMB,
So like $1,300.
not including utilities. And it's not very fancy. The plumbing and stuff had issues that I had to fix myself.
Right.
You know, as usual.
Right.
There's no hot water in the kitchen, and you know,
Right.
it's the usual Chinese apartment. You know, it's
Right.
got a terrible toilet. It's not a pit toilet, but it's like a really cheap.
And are you,
You know-
like in the super city center?
No,
No.
no.
So what about if you were to move to the super city center?
if I wanted to move into like a nice apartment, like a bigger,
Yeah, like a normal American
modern-
size.
Okay, normal American size, I'd be paying about 15,000 RMB a month.
Okay. Downtown.
Yeah, that would be like an entry level.
Okay.
I know people that pay like 35, 65 even, but those are the super rich people.
Right, right. For comparison, although I lived in a third-tier city, my first apartment in China,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of do a little price compare here, cost $100 a month, right? And it was about 60 square meters.
Yeah.
So there you go, right? And I was just me, $100 a month. That was like pretty normal price.
Yeah.
If I'd gone to Shenzhen, maybe it would have been $300 or $400, right?
Yeah.
At least double the price, but still, very affordable.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's not like that anymore. And we kind of feel bad for the young people these days
yeah.
growing up because they're expected, the men at least, are expected to buy a house, right? How are they going to survive when the average salary is $8,000 per year?
Yeah.
Right? How does that make sense?
Yeah, and you know, I forgot to put into this whole equation. When I first moved to Shenzhen, it was 12 years ago, mind you. Okay, the first apartment nice apartment that I rented, cost me 3,500 RMB a month.
Right.
Which is what? That's
It's like $500.
yeah, about $500, and it was better and bigger than the one I'm in now.
Right.
So the prices have just been doubling, or you know, really growing every single year because of this crazy housing market. But basically, yeah, what are young people going to do? Because if you want to get a house now, first of all, people can't afford to buy houses. Young people,
No.
they're getting these ridiculous loans that they can't actually pay off.
Right.
Because just the mortgage payments every month
Right.
is like more than their salaries combined.
You know, Vivi's dad's first house,
Yeah.
he paid $10,000 US for that apartment, right?
Okay.
It is now worth like $800,000. So how is that fair for a young person, right?
Yeah.
To have that same kind of stress, right?
Yeah.
Also, not just houses, like, let's talk about the most base of base things. You need to eat, right?
Yeah.
You need to eat to stay alive. When I was first in China, I remember I could get a plate of dumplings
Yeah.
and like a little plate of noodles, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
like 5 RMB. We're talking less than $1,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What about you? I think it's probably the same, right? Baozi.
I mean, yeah, I was homeless for like 2 days and I
Right.
ran out of money, and I can remember
you
I survived a
figured out.
week once on like 5.5 RMB, but that was ridiculous. I was eating half
course,
a
of
half a
course.
baozi a day.
Right.
But you know, when I first got to Shenzhen, you could get cheap meals.
Right.
You still can if you're willing to like go to the
Slop.
worst slop. Like you can pay like 5 RMB for a little meal.
You're gonna get sick.
Yeah,
though.
but it's all
Guaranteed.
leftovers, and
Right.
it's using, you know, the gutter
Gutter
oil
oil.
and all that. And that's another problem, is all these food scandals.
Right.
So people are getting more and more paranoid. So if you want to eat healthy,
You pay way
you
more.
pay a lot more. And something we've mentioned a lot is that if you want a Western lifestyle in China, you pay way more than you would pay for a Western lifestyle in the West.
Right, and it's not just things like, oh, I want this brand of beer. It's
Yeah.
like the same standard.
Same
right?
standard, yeah. Like
To
going
buy
to
nice
nice
vegetables, nice
Yeah.
meat. You know.
Yeah, something that's good, being able to go to a nice restaurant, you know,
Right.
or a nice bar if that's your thing.
Right.
It's super expensive, you know. You're paying
Right.
double, triple the amount for a beer and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think now for the same plate of dumplings and noodles, like poverty level stuff. This
Yeah.
is like side of the road crap, right? That's gonna cost you like 10 RMB now. So we're
Yeah,
talking
at least, yeah.
more than double the price.
Yeah, I mean, of course, if you go into the rural parts of China, you can still pull over and get a, you know, I don't know, mian tiao or something will be
Right.
like, what, like maybe 5 RMB or 2 RMB even.
Right.
You know, but that's like in the middle of nowhere. When we did Conquering Southern China, I remember.
I've never eaten that poorly in my
Yeah,
entire life.
that
The
was
food
actually our worst.
sucked.
It was our worst eating experience in China
Right.
because we were going
Chinese
to.
food's good. That was not good.
No, in the rural areas, you don't get much choice.
No, they
You
eat
literally-
to
you
survive.
can't, yeah.
And we were in the poorest provinces
Yeah,
in
yeah,
China,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
So
But anyway,
yeah.
how do young people do it? That's the question, right? It's very simple. They get the money from their parents.
Yeah, they
right?
rely on family.
It's very, very, you might not understand this as a Westerner, but it's very different from where you're from.
Yeah.
Your parents are expected to give you everything.
Yeah.
You can even live with them, with your wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's
It's
the whole
normal.
point. You're supposed to. Well, they're supposed to move in with you, but
Right.
you know, it's that whole extended family thing. But yes, what's happening is they will borrow money from family, and
Right.
family will go out and get loans from the bank,
Right.
and you will get loans from the bank. Everyone gets loans,
Right.
pulls the money together to get a house.
Right.
But this is really causing a massive amount of debt in China, and it's getting to a point where people are struggling to pay it back.
Right, because China's never had a problem with that. People
Yeah.
have always had savings, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a weird compounding issue.
Yeah, and you know, because of the huge amount of subscribers that we both have, we often get questions. People ask like, "Hey, I'm moving to China.
Right.
I'm looking to spend 2,500 RMB a month for
Right.
rent." And I'm like, "You just can't.
can't.
You can't unless you go live for like an hour
Or
commute.
in a dorm with like factory workers.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
just not possible to get those low, cheap sort of rental things anymore. China is not a cheap place.
I would say it's on average more expensive than the U.S.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Food-wise, for sure. Food is more
Right.
expensive if you want nice food. Like, you know, just average slop,
Produce.
you know, like, is cheaper in America. You know,
Yeah.
like you can
No,
go
for sure.
go get like
Dollar menu.
Yeah, dollar. You don't get that kind of thing. No.
No.
Anyway, you've got that. Another thing that's really more expensive is cars. You know, and transport.
yeah.
Like just ridiculous amounts of money.
Gas is more,
Yeah.
taxes more, cars are more, everything's
Yeah.
more.
And there's
Tolls.
no free parking in any of the cities. So no one has houses in the cities. They all live in apartments,
Of
right?
course, of course, of course.
And every apartment building, you have to pay for parking,
Right,
and it's expensive.
right.
You know, people always rip me off because in my one video, I paid like $150 for like a month or something parking.
Right,
But they don't realize that's my house.
right.
You know, like imagine you park your car at your house and every day it's costing you money.
It costs
Like,
you money, right?
Yeah.
Vivi's
that's-
parents paid 200,000 or 300,000 RMB for a parking space.
Yes.
They had to buy a slab of concrete
Yeah.
underground where it's very cramped.
Yeah. Obviously, it's just, and other people will, you know, put
Hit your
stuff
car
in
and
there
shit.
and they scrape it. My car just got hit the other day again.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
seriously.
If you have a car in China, it will definitely be scraped.
Yeah, I went downstairs and I'm like, "What's this?" And there's a massive white scrape down the whole one side because somebody was trying to park or something and scraped and just
Right.
drove off. It's just
Right.
so frustrating.
Anyway, long
yeah.
story short, the average salary is, like I said, $8,000 per year. So if especially for a fresh graduate, it's not even going to make that, right? So when they come out of university and find like an entry-level office job, even if they're overqualified for it, have absolutely no means of self-sufficient supporting themselves, right? It's
yeah,
not going to happen. So a family unit, like we said.
Yeah. There's one more thing I just want to say. People are
Sure.
probably thinking, but how can you get all those cheap factory workers and stuff? You know, how can they work for low wages? Well, I mean, the wages are going up, but the reason they can do that is factories supply people with dormitories, right?
Right.
And so what happens
8,
is,
10 people to a dorm.
yeah, factory workers, like people come from the rural areas,
Right.
and they earn like nothing for a salary.
Right.
But then they don't have to pay for accommodation or
Right.
food because the factory provides that. And they have these
They get
big,
slop. They get.
and they get these big compounds, basically these terrible
Right.
factory compounds, and that's where everyone lives. So, you know, that's why the labor cost can still be low.
Right.
But anyone who's aspiring to live in the cities,
Right.
really, you know, it's not like the rural areas. It's just too expensive.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's an update on that. Is there anything you'd like to tell our subscribers before we sign off? Oh, thank you.
谢谢。
谢谢.
We got a receipt for our.
It's for our lovely.
This
Flying.
was great.
Yeah.
Next time you're in Taiwan, drink Flying Goat. She's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Mm.
Whether you can afford your life or not, whether hopefully, I really hope you guys aren't like struggling with debt. It's probably like the worst feeling in the entire world.
It is. I've been there.
I've never
Well, no, I've
particularly
never been
in
in debt, but I've
been
never
poor.
had. My whole life, man, just
Right.
scraping.
Seriously.
Yeah.
At least we're growing up and starting to earn a little bit more money to take care of our families now.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks to you guys.
Absolutely.
We really
and
appreciate
your support.
Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, go click the button. We also have some, speaking of support, we have some merch down there. Really cool stuff. I just got one myself. I'm going to be rocking that soon. ADV China sweatshirt.
You should wear our merch.
Yeah. I
Buy that merch.
Why don't you, don't. Why don't you wear one too?
So whether or not you are a debtor or a dettee or a employer or an employee, we love you all the same, as long as you're not a loan shark, because we don't love them.
That's,
That's
bullshit.
yeah, it's terrible. So until next time, you know the drill, guys. Unlike goat milk, stay awesome. Well, anyway, guys, if you do want to find out what this tastes like, come to Taiwan. We're going to leave a Google
GPS
Maps
tag,
link, and you can find your way to this lovely goat. I don't know, what would you call this goat theme park?
It's called the Goat Kingdom.
Sorry,
Sheep Kingdom.
Sheep Kingdom.
That's what it's
It's
called.
really weird because everything near this place has just got sheep on the walls, sheep
Right.
murals. Not even just here, all the bed and breakfasts and stuff like where we're staying. There's like a sheep mural in there.
Right. Oh, I'm going to talk about sheep.
Close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my